We are working on balance, and we're really working on um, the center of balance. So the center of balance, depending on what we're using, what limbs we're in, where we're moving our weight, can continue to change. So there's not one center. Um, if I'm doing this with my hand, right, the center of balance is really the center of my palm, right? I'm trying to find my thumb to my pinky. If I'm on one foot, my center of balance is going to shift. So if we think about like, this is my only center, it won't work as well as being able to allow the center to change a little bit. But within that, we're also going to be working on uh, smaller core muscles, which means that abs part won't be as hard, but it'll require you to pay a little bit more attention. So you're turning on some of the smaller muscles that are kind of closer to your spine to create some stability there. Okay, what we need is our stirrup strap. We need a medium um, circular strap, and we definitely need our ball and some blocks. And we're actually going to start with the ball early on, so keep that nearby. And we're going to start lying back. So you're going to take your strap and just put it over your legs, and then go straight into it's right above the knees, and you're going to go straight into goddess pose. Let your feet touch and your knees fall out to the side. Okay. And we use that strap, right? We use that strap, A, just to kind of hold up our legs, which is nice. But I also want you to feel it moving when you're breathing. And that brings in some more of the subtleties to our breath. So place your hands on your tummy and just take a few natural breaths without doing anything fancy, and see if you feel any movement in your strap or any movement under your hands. If you're a chest breather, your hands won't move, your legs won't move. If you're a natural belly breather, you'll start to already feel some movement here, but maybe not your hands, but maybe not your strap. And so a couple of times a day, in any day, in every day, we want to be able to be a full body breather, right? We want that diaphragm to drop, not just on your Saturday morning class, but really a few times a day, because A, that diaphragm needs to be able to make its whole trajectory, its whole movement. And it needs to do that, A, because if your breath gets tight, right, that's not so great for the heart and the lungs, but it's also not so great for anything below, right? And as far down as your pelvic floor being able to balance itself, as well as the natural massage the diaphragm gives to all the organs. So let's go ahead and see if we can push the diaphragm down with our breath. And as we do that, we should feel the legs pushing out into the strap a little bit more. And then as we exhale through the lips, they come back together a little bit. And if we're doing that properly, keep breathing on your own, you're going to feel the kind of push out of the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor moves away from the body on the inhale, just the way that the breathing diaphragm does. It all presses down, and then it all floats back up. So we become really aware of our core line. And we don't want to be pushing our legs into the strap. We want the breath to be so big that it draws the legs into the strap. We can do this lying down. But we can also do it standing up, just as long as you're dropping the diaphragm as deeply as you can and you're letting your belly distend. We want to do that maybe in the morning, maybe at night. That's a nice time to kind of like punctuate your beginning of your day and the end of your evening. Nice. Okay. And now we can turn our feet to the floor, lift your bottom, and take your ball, put it right under your low back. I don't know if you can hear that, but right now, it's supposed to be on silent. Give me one sec. Hmm. Okay. So this is right under our sacrum there, right under the lowest part of our back by our tush, and our feet are going to be on the floor. And so we're going to make a little bit of a circle around our belly. So our key bones or points, our hip points, our pubic bone, and our navel. Can you go lie on the couch? Go, go, go. Okay. And so you're just going to go side to side from hip point to hip point. And remember, I mentioned that when we're working in the core, we're going to be working on the really small muscles. So don't make big movements, right? I want you to almost feel like you're doing it from the inside of your hip points. And then we're going to rock, we're going to still that, and we're going to rock from the navel to the pubic bone, right? So it's an arch in the lower back and a flattening of the lower back. I'm just thinking about those 2 points. Okay, so I've got everything inside those 4 points working, right? And so now we're going to do a circle around that. So I'm going to imagine that my hip point can come up to my navel to my other hip point, that hip point to the pubic bone. And so I'm making a little deep circle. And I'm thinking about all the muscles that are around my navel, hip point to navel, navel to other hip point, to the pubic bone, around to the hip point. So I can think about a clock just going around the inside of the face of the clock. I have all 10 fingertips inside my hip points, right around my navel, because that really helps me move those muscles. You'll notice that the weight changes on your feet as you make that really deep circle. And the slower you go, the deeper you'll get. There are so many muscles that bind together your organs. And so they're really being affected here, which is great. Oh, okay. Now, really hard. Go the other way. However, you circled, you're going to try to circle that small, deep circle the other way. Nice. Okay. Oh, that felt really good. Amazing for your digestion. That's amazing because that's mostly right in there your intestine, right? And they don't get a lot of love. They just don't. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to think one more time of the pubic bone to the navel and push down. And as you push the navel down, you're going to push the back of the ribs down and you're going to feel your feet get lighter and then release. And then zip that navel up or the pubic bone up to the navel. So you're pushing the back of the ribs onto the floor so much that your feet hover a little bit and then drop. So we're going to be lifting our legs, obviously, but we're going to be lifting it from these deep belly muscles. So one more time, pubic bone to navel, back of the ribs to the floor and lift up and release Great. And then this time we're going to pubic bone navel lift all the way up and hold there. So your knees are over your hips. You're pushing out into that strap, and the back of your ribs are pressing into the floor. And so if you poke your belly now, it should feel really strong. Let's take a deep breath in and we'll shrink wrap that belly. And as we make that sound, right, we push the belly muscles even deeper in. Again, inhale and shrink wrap. And then can you hold all that strength and bring your feet back to the floor and then let it go? Ah, like the air just flew back into your belly. So we do a belly breath to start because I want to stretch those muscles out before we make them so tight. But we want to, when we're doing this, we're being really asked to breathe into the upper chest more. We breathe into the belly, we kind of unlock. So we want to breathe into the upper chest. Okay, so what are we doing? We're really creating a dexterity or an ability to engage the abdominal muscles, our deep core muscles to move parts of our body. Okay, so we're going to pull the pubic bone up to the navel, push the rib cage down, keep pressing into the ribs, and that should lighten your feet up toward the ceiling. Stretch out into the strap. Inhale, exhale, shrink wrap, pulling everything to the navel. Inhale again, exhale. And now take your arms up toward the ceiling, and we're going to hold there, keeping the navel engaged, the hip points almost narrowing as the legs pull out. And we're going to hold that and dip just the toes to the floor. And pull back up and dip the toes to the floor, pressing into that strap and use those belly muscles to pull up. And again. And again. And one more time. Oh, great. And then release. You're going to pull your ball out. You're going to pull your strap off. And then you're going to put your ball between your knees. Okay. And now we're going to do that again, right? But now we're engaging even deeper muscles, even deeper muscles. So let's go ahead and put the feet on the floor. Inhale, exhale, press the back of the ribs down, lift the legs up, squeeze your, and then without releasing the ribs, push those ribs down, drop your heels if you can, squeeze the ball to come up. Yeah. The back of your ribs are glued to the floor. The front ribs are pushing into the back ribs. Let's take a deep inhale, a long exhale, shrink wrap even more. Hold that as you dip dip. And pull your knees back up and dip down. Don't unlock the back. Pull back up. We just have three more. Push the front ribs into the back ribs. Dipping down. Exhaling your way up. Yeah. Dipping down. Exhale. One more. Great. Holding there, take your arms out into a T, like a cactus. Squeeze that ball and drop to the side without touching. Squeeze the ball, squeeze your belly, come back up. Go to the other side. Squeeze your ball, squeeze the oblique, right, on the other side. So your knees are dropping to one side. I want you to lift up, squeeze the oblique on the top side. Right, a few more times to each side, looking away from the ball. So you also want to get that really nice rotation in your spine. Great. One more time to each side, and then you can go ahead and hug your knees into your belly. Ah, very nice. Okay. I'm going to reach and grab for maybe like a light to medium strap, and put it over your right thigh and your left foot. You see, I'm kind of in that area. Okay, and I'm going to go really high into the hip crease. Now, as my foot, okay, I'm going to take a moment and let everybody get there. So all of our core muscles are turned on. You can kind of poke there and feel all the toning that just happened. So nice. Okay, and then we're going to hold the right knee. So the strap is over your right thigh, all the way in the hip crease, right? And it's under your foot there, like a little stirrup. Okay, you're going to pull your knee in and press your foot out. And so that's really dropping your hip. It's releasing some of your hip flexor muscles, which one of them is your psoas. And then you're going to come back and the knees are going to match. And then you're going to push and pull. And you're going to come back and your knees are going to match. And you're going to push and pull. Your knees are going to match. You're going to lift up a little bit here. You're going to hold that lift and push and bring your forehead to your knee. And release and push and bring your forehead to your knee. So you're using those deep abdominal muscles to create that lift, as well as working your deep to release your deep psoas muscle. One more like that. Holding, stretch through your left foot, pull your right knee and see if you can come up a little bit more. And then let it all go. Huh. Switch sides. So the easy way that I found to do it is I switch feet quickly, and then I just bring that strap over my left and release my left foot. That's been my little trick this week. Okay, here we go. So this is just the push and the pull. I like this feeling in my hip because my hip flexors tend to be tight. And so this releases them in a way I can't in most stretches. You're just pushing and pulling. Nice to work that pulling in on the exhale. Inhale for your release. Okay. All right, you're ready. Now we're going to do that lifting and releasing back. Lifting and releasing back. Deep exhale when you lift. Inhale to bring yourself back down. Okay, this is our last one. So we're going to hold. Exhaling. See how far up you can get your upper body, right? Really bring it all the way into the thigh. Maybe your nose, maybe your forehead, maybe your chin. Maybe you're just thinking about it. Squeeze it in as much as you can. Reach to the opposite foot. And then let it go. Unstrap all of that. Okay, let's do a little rocking. We certainly need our core muscles to rock, right? Pull that navel in to rock. And then come all the way up. You're going to come to sit on your, let's say it's going to be your left hip, and you're going to cross your ankles. Okay, yep, good. And then we're going to do a little bit of a twist. We're going to put our hands on the floor and let your weight go into your hands. And then as your weight goes into your hands, like as you're pushing, pull your navel back. So that tuck we've been working, you're going to work here. And it's not just that I pull my navel back, I zip all the way up. So these are easier muscles to engage than these, right? That's why we get this little lovely pooch here, right? Because these are harder. You got to really think about it. And so the way we think about it is we pull up from the pubic bone and then they just have to work, right? I can do my upper without doing my lower. Okay. So think about that as you put your hands on the floor and push away and really tuck under. Good. And then release. So it's like you're doing an on your side cat cow, right? And so the cat, you're exhaling, pushing back and inhaling. But we're also adding like that press of the hands. Okay. Ready. So now we're going to add to that because that was pretty easy, right? We're going to push in and come up and turn the hip and return. Got it. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to think about there is this is not really my arms. My arms are there so I don't fall on my face, but the lift and the strength is coming from my belly. Okay. So press your hands, pull your belly back, and lift from there. Enter and return. That circle that we did on the ball, all those deep circular muscles are what we need to do this, right? So don't cheat with your arms because it actually makes it harder. Make sure you've pulled your belly back and that already propels you up. Let's do three more. Good, head pushing up. I just want to watch you and twist around. Good. Okay, pause. Yeah. So one of the things that helps me, you see my feet? They're crossed. Yeah. So the ankle cross gives me like a lock down here. Yep. And then I use, I'm pressing on. So what foot is this? My left foot is under, like over, and my right foot is on the floor. Okay. So I pull my belly back. I push into that foot. I take it around and I take it back around. So I'm kind of spinning on the ball of my foot to get all the way across. There you go. Yep. Nice. There you go. Right. Easier ish. Yeah, you need some dexterity in your feet. Good. How are we doing? Pull that belly back. So, what I want to see, pause for 1 second. You don't have to go all the way around. It's not so important. The lift off is important. But what's really important is that you're not doing it from your arms. And I can tell when you're doing it right because all of a sudden, so watch this. If I'm doing it from my arms, you see my spine, it kind of stays flat. If I'm doing it from my belly, watch. You see how my spine really rounds? So you can do just that much. You don't even have to do the full turn. If you can get your navel to go back and push up, that's enough. Or you can do your full spin. I'm going to watch. Good. Yep. Nice. Yes. Good. Good. Yep. Last one. Okay, now unfortunately, we must do the other side. So flip your legs over. I'm going to cross the other way. The different, like it's your different side of the obliques that have to work. Obviously, the arm strength is going to be a little different. So let's do 5 or 6. Now you know what to do and how to modify. So let's just do 5 or 6. When you come up, exhale. So it's a big, good. Pull that belly in, round your spine. It's most important that you create a cat spine than you do anything else. Good. 5 or 6, and then take a break. And of course, we're getting some really nice arm strength. All right. Wonderful. And then let's come on to hands and knees. And you're going to grab some blocks. Place them on the floor. You can put them on their taller side. Let's see how that goes to start. So I think about this being a center point, right? For sure, for these, right? When I'm lifting off the floor, but where I'm engaging, right? It's not always just here. Like for that one, I really needed to think about this as some support. And when I went on the other side, I had to think about this as some support. Okay, so here we're going to go into a cat and cow. And I think maybe as I'm doing it, the height might be too high. So you might need to take it down a little bit. So just find that belly relaxes, zipping up from the pubic bone. Belly relaxes, zipping up from the pubic bone. Nice and easy. Okay, then we're going to shoot from the cat pose. We're going to shoot the right leg back. Stretching through that heel, pushing the floor away. We're going to engage the belly and pull that leg up and through. And then shoot it back again. So this is coming off of that stretch that we did with the strap where we had to flex the hip. Yep. So that's this without obviously the strap and like using what we gained there. So that gave me the ability to really flex my hip. But when I really flex my hip, I have to take my spine up. Can you watch that for 1 second? So I can flex my hip and I get stuck. There's no room. Right? Or watch how my spine goes. I can round my spine, and that gives me the clearance for the foot. I'm also pushing into the floor, that navel's pulling back. So we're just adding all these pieces together. Does that make sense? Yeah, good. Yep. And then you see you get an easier swing because you're making more space from the floor. Now, if you just push down with your hands, I am pushing into the floor, I have no space. But if I round my whole spine, look at how much more space I have to swing that leg through. So some of it's not tight hip, it's just aerodynamics, maybe. Yep. And of course, if you're still not able to get that foot forward, then flip your blocks up. It's a swing through. Better. Yeah. A swing through. I want to be kind of in flight and then place my foot. Yep. So I'm placing my foot. Okay, let's, of course, think about this other side. So make sure you're really tucking under, stretching that left heel back, and thinking about all those points as you slide your foot forward and back. And I'm pushing against those blocks and widening my shoulder blades, right? Good. Okay. Now let's pause there. You're going to use the blocks again. Knees are right behind the blocks. You're going to tuck your toes under. Same idea. Inhale, exhale, and return. Inhale, exhale, and return. I narrow my hip points as I take my navel back. 3 more. And then hold, look up, push into those blocks, squeeze your hip points together, squeeze your navel, lift your chin, push through your heels. Good. You're in plank pose if you can be. And then you can pull it into downward dog. Nice downward dog on blocks, right? So if your weight is going forward, your blocks are going to go flying, right? Pull your weight back into your feet, into your hips, let your head drop. And then walk your feet forward. And slowly roll it up. So most of the time, we're like, oh, that's too hard for me. But it's not. It's just how you're approaching it, right? If we're not engaging all the things, then the pose seems to be a lot harder than it is. Okay, so we're going to work on now the balance of the foot a little bit. And so we're going to take our strap and put it around the big toe of the left foot. One of the ways when we come to standing balance that we lose our balance is that we unlock the foot. Can you see that? Right? And so I'm always saying the mound of your big toe needs to stay on the floor, right? But um the opposite, right, is sometimes we do this instead, right? So we overcompensate. So what happens here is the strap is going to lift the big toe. I'm going to remind you to push the mound of the big toe to the floor, but you see my arch is there. See my arch flattened. See my arch is there, right? So this kind of does everything for us. Okay. All right. So this is going to be my stable leg. I'm going to pull this out. Mhm. So now my foot's got to figure out what to do. The big toe can lift, the mound has to stay down, and then you're going to take your leg up. So wait, look at my arm. Can you see my arm is perfectly straight? It's from that toe to my fingertips. Can you see that? Yeah. So, oh, that's already something, right? And then without shifting, I'm going to hold in my navel and flex my hip. All the things coming together. And lower down and lift up, linking those actions. Good. Nice. And lower down and lift up. So pause for a second. When I'm lifting up, we now know that we just don't lift the leg up, that we lift up. We zip from the pubic bone to the navel. So everything is supporting me. Okay, two more like that. Lifting up. Ooh, I'm falling over. Lifting up and lower down. Be careful. I'm going to pause again. So I'm seeing a little bit of this. You see what's happening here? So I'm bracing myself instead of balancing. Watch my back. It goes the other way. It doesn't go this way. It goes the other way. Because remember, front ribs into the back ribs, as if you were on the floor. Okay. Last two. Front ribs into the back ribs, zipping up. There. And one more on that side. Take both arms up, lifting higher. Push the front ribs into the back ribs. Nice. You see that difference, Donnelly? Yeah. Okay. And then release, and let's switch side. So some things, oddly, are fear reflexes that we just forgot we don't need anymore, right? And so when I'm going to balance and I go, that's a fear reflex, right? I don't want to fall. But if I don't want to fall, that ain't going to help me. I'm going to fall back, right? If I don't want to fall, I have to go inward, right? I have to find all of this. Okay, ready? Same idea. Okay. Front ribs into the back ribs, zipping up. Take the arm up. Yes. You can lift your big toe. This is meant to help you lift your big toe. Come on down, but not dislodge the ball. Okay. Lifting up. We're linking all those movements. Front ribs into the back ribs. Arm is straight. I'm not muscling it. I'm just pulling like that. Lifting up, lowering down. Engage that glute. Lifting up, lowering down. Good. Last one. So we're going to hold it longer. Take the arm up, squeeze the glute, find your core, front ribs into the back ribs, lifting tall, tall, tall. And then release. Nice. Shake that out. Okay. We're going to switch gears again. Coming back to our circular strap. And we want to take it over the foot and over the thigh. So we've been here before, right? We were on the floor when we did it. You're going to need your block. We worked, if you were here last week, we worked on a little bit of this last. So this is ensuring one, that this leg stays straight, and two, that I'm moving from my hip. That's what its job is, right? And this leg is going to be straight. Now I have my block right here for some support, and I'm just going to come into triangle pose. Also, when you have your leg like that, your medial hamstring screams at you when you come into triangle. At least mine does. Good. Use your oblique to turn up. So I'm not pulling my shoulder back. I'm turning my tummy. And then press into your back foot and come up. Let's just go the other way. Almost like you're going to do a cartwheel. Come back down. Turn your belly. Find your twist. Hand to your hip. Bend your knee. Bring the block in front of your foot. Pass the weight. Touch your ankle. And step back. Remember that from last week. I'll go slower. We did that last week. So what I'm doing is transitioning. I move the block. I bend this knee now. So I need to change the center of weight to this leg. And then from there, I just tap my ankle and stretch it back, re-straighten the leg. Yeah, I never even get very high yet. Obviously we're going to go into some version of Warrior 3 or Ardha Chandrasana. But mostly I just want us to be able to like easily transition from the back foot being the stable foot to the front foot. Let's do it one more time. Sorry. Triangle. Turn your belly, make sure those belly muscles are on. You can bring that top hand to your hip. Bend your knee. Shift that block. That block has to be ahead of your foot a little bit. Bring the weight to your front foot. Straighten that leg and tap your ankle. And reach it back. Good. Got it? Okay. Switch it around. We must do the other side. So remembering the positions of your feet, back toes are turned in, so are the front toes. But this back leg is inwardly rotated. This front leg is essentially outwardly rotating. Extend your arms, pull from that hip. Ooh. Turn from your belly. Front leg is perfectly straight. Come back up. Oh, you know why, Donnelly? You're backward. So the front leg has the strap in the hip, and the back leg has the strap on the foot. I was like, what's happening over there? Yeah, there you go. Okay, good. All right. And open up your ribs. One more time. Let's go straight into triangle. Try to keep your front leg straight, D, if you can. Yeah. Then you get all that juicy stuff here. Turn your tummy. That's worth it in and of itself, right? Just to get that hamstring stretch. The more I drive, the more my hamstrings hurt. I don't understand. Okay, now we're going to bend. We're going to slide that block ahead. We're going to pass the weight and tap the ankle. And reach back. Come up. Cartwheel. Straight front leg. Take it slow. Bend your knee. Your hip gets really open, right? Slide that block. Start to bring the weight to the front foot. Scissor your leg closed. Yep. And then step back. Nice. Good. All right. So the thing is, watch for one more second because we're working on this one all month. So we're going to get it right. So one of it is like you just got to deal with the strap because it can be a little annoying. But I come into the pose, my front leg must be straight, right? That just keeps the tension in the strap too. Then I bend. I got to go for it. I keep pushing into that back foot. Then I slide my block. Now watch, this is the part where everyone got that, but this is where it gets a little crazy. This leg I have to bring the weight into that foot. You see that? That leg still has to be straight as I come up and scissor closed. Yep. And then step back down. Yep. And yes, of course, maybe you lose the strap, but that's okay. Just put it back on. At some point, I'm going to go from here. Whoop, I'm going to fall over. I'm going to go from here all the way to here. Yep, that's where we're heading. And with the strap, it becomes so much easier because I'm pushing into that foot like crazy. And then I have to figure out how to dismount. So, like, if it helps you, I froze. Can you see me? If it helps you to hold the strap, if that's like your biggest problem is that you're losing your girdle, right? Right? Then just hold the strap, right? And then it won't fall quite as much. Okay, give yourself one more shot at that. I'm going to watch. See if you can go through the steps. Uh-huh. Front leg is straight and then it bends. Yep. But bring that back foot to, yeah, there you go. Nice. Perfect. Yep. Nice. There you go, John. You got it. Everyone got it. That's it. Okay. One more seemingly hard pose. Okay. We're going to take our, maybe a light one because I'm feeling kindness in my heart over your feet like that. You can grab a weight if you want. So we're going to do a balance entry. So we are going to balance first on the right foot. So I'm going to bring the weight into my right hand and just send it up. And so that immediately says, okay, everything on the right side, the glute, the abs, has to firm up. It has to take its place. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift this knee. Front ribs into the back ribs, tailbone gets long. Pulling up, pressing down. Yep, good. Front ribs into the back rib. And you kick the foot out and turn the knee out. And you bring it back to center. And lower down. Nice. My new balance side, my new center of balance is my left side. My glutes, my ribs, I lift. Don't drop that hip out. Keep pulling in underneath your glute, lifting up high, flexing that hip. Kick that foot a little forward. And as you do it, turn out. Good. Push that foot a little bit more. Bring it back to center and lower down. Very nice. Good job. Everybody have a weight in their hand. Yep. We're just going to do like 3 nice squats to get the glutes to work. So press your feet out, hold your weight. Okay. You're going to sit back. You're going to reach up. You're going to sit back. Squeeze the base of your glute. Squeeze the base of your glute. Yep. Really get that tush in. 2 more. And 1 and 2. Excellent. Good job. Let it go. Ah, how's everyone feeling? Core connected? Everything's turned on? Okay, awesome. Let's take it into a like a one flow sun salutation just to bring it all, integrate it all. And then we're going to go into a nice and well-earned Savasana. Okay, so come to the front of your mat. And notice as you're there, what naturally turns on for you? Like you don't have to make the effort. Someone was saying to me the other day, like, I'm supposed to hold on to all these pieces because I'm like ribs back, butt up, all this stuff. And I'm like, you're not. You're not supposed to have to consciously think about them. Once we've exercised them and they're on, then they're on without your thinking. They're back to being automatic. So when you're standing here in Tadasana, what is on that automatic? Like, does your belly just nicely engage from the lower abs to the upper abs? Do you feel like a toning in the bottom of your glutes? That happening for you? Do you naturally rest in your heels or are you still in your toes? Just questions. Let your tailbone hang long as you breathe the arms up. Inner thighs back as you forward fold. All we're ever doing, extend your spine in asana, is wiring things kind of back to nature. As you're ready, you can inhale your left foot back. Find your downward dog. Float it forward, push up. We were here already. Lift your head. Front ribs into the back ribs. Engage your glutes. Knees, chest, chin. Loading up to cobra. Exhale to downward dog. Now we're going to swing that leg, right? So think about all those things to bring that leg forward smoothly. And then let the other foot follow. Exhale back. Float it up. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Take yourself all the way back in whatever way feels right for you. And we're going to meet in pose of the child. Take a few relaxing breaths there. Well earned. There's a way that when we turn on all of the muscles, our nervous system begins to calm down. We are much more anxious when our muscles are too lax than when they are balanced and toned. Then that's saying to the body that all the support is supporting. Okay, take your legs out in front of you as you come up. Yeah. Bring your hands to prayer pointing at your toes and then slide it down. Round your spine, right? Really work that C curve all the way down. And then once you get there, find a relaxing place to be. Your heart nice and open. Placing your hand on what feels like center for you right now. Let the breath be slow and easy. Give the thoughts permission to float by. Even though your mind is awake, it doesn't need to be thinking through a thought. It's just alert. As you begin to feel your feet and lower legs relax, your body can be released, not in any kind of vigilance. As your upper legs, and even your glute muscles soften and relax. Tummy relaxes. Arms relax. Even your heart and lungs can relax. Your third eye begins to open as your facial muscles soften. Tongue floating in the mouth, body in a receiving place. You are aware, but not thinking. Feeling yourself drifting into something that feels a little fuzzy, a little dreamy, but still aware. This is that beautiful doorway from conscious to unconscious. This is a really nice place to apply a feeling of joy, gratitude, love, contentment, right in this threshold. So both states of mind are fully aware of this energy being part of you. Allowing some version of an elevated feeling come through. And if something comes in that feels less than that, say that you will get there. You will sit with that in a moment. But right now, I'm going to feel this more expansive feeling, this faithful feeling. And as you're ready, the breath can deepen. Well, you don't have to shift gears. You can stay in this twilight place. Notice if your body, mind feels any different. Something pleasurable that you'd like to live into. Can you ride the wave of that twilight state even as you move fingers and toes, lingering there a little longer? And then as you're ready, find your way into a seated, quiet, still position. The spine is tall, the mind is clear. There's a lingering feeling of contentment, perhaps, in just being. There's nothing that's creating the contentment other than just being. Place your hands to prayer. Namaste.